Hey everyone, I hope everyone had a good weekend. This is Gordon Burnett doing my response module. I enjoyed watching both of y'all's initial posts. First, I'd like to talk about is Teddy. Teddy started out talking about Sanford and the student development theory. It's one I went over in my initial post, and I think is very crucial to any student in their development and becoming a mature person. One part I want to put out is on page 30. It says if the university environment fails to provide such support, or if the student does not experience the available supports, the additional challenge of taking classes on top of the stress of work and family life may be too great, leading students to drop out of college. And us as aspiring academic professionals must learn everything we can in order to help students to prevent this at all costs. Um, the next thing I'd like to go over is talk about Krista's post. She talked a lot about her identity rank worksheet and relating her social class with the white privilege. And I really like the Jing idea. As a side note, I thought that was very clear and concise and easy to follow along with, and what I'll probably start doing as well. Um, to add on to her post and her example of the lady getting ahead just her by being white or just by privilege. I wanted to talk about two privileges that were on page 242 that were kind of seen as invisible privileges that a lot of people get discriminated against, but it really doesn't come to light as much as socioeconomic or racial class or gender class even. And one of those was the heterosexual privilege. On page 242, it says, similar to other privileged identities, most people who identify as heterosexuals do not think about their sexual orientation until they recognize their relationship to others who do not identify themselves as sexual orientations. So essentially, they don't really think of themselves as having privilege just because they're heterosexuals. And it goes on to say that most heterosexuals view their sexuality as normal as and others who have different sexualities or identities as deviant. So they just kind of saying that they assume themselves as the normal role in that scenario. Another privilege they kind of classified as an invisible privilege is the ability privilege. And also on page 242 it says that historically a disability has been viewed as a sign of spiritual depravity, a cause of ridicule, a genetic weakness to be exterminated, something to be hidden away, or a source of pity. It's essentially saying anyone with maybe a handicap, confined to a wheelchair, any learning disability, is something that historically people haven't viewed themselves as the same type of person or on the same learning ability level, or they can't function at the same level as society expects a normal individual to. And I think it's important to keep in mind that, people, there's all kinds of discrimination in the world and not just the basic ones of socioeconomics and race. Um, I knew in the first one that I probably would mess up and miss something, and I did, and it was the identity rank worksheet. Um, when I watched y'all, I totally forgotten to do this. But I view myself personally as multicultural, as Native American and Caucasian. The society would probably view me as Caucasian, and so I would like to do the race and the socioeconomic status. Why these two are important and why I'd like to do these for my identity rank for the semester would be because the area that I'm from, it's probably one of the most diverse areas in North Carolina, being Robinson County, and it's also labeled as the most poverty-stricken area in North Carolina. So this really hits home and is a big interest to me, And what I'll be the groups that I will be assessing will be Native Americans and their socio and how being Native American and their socioeconomic rank influences them on their education and their pursuit of higher knowledge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.